everybody. Welcome to another episode of the RoadMap podcast. We got a special guest today all the way from sunny California. We got Nick Garay here today with us. How's it going today, bro?
Good, brother. Good to be here.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you don't make this trip very often, do you?
No, you know what? It was 3.5, about 3 years ago since the last time I was out here.
Yeah.
This didn't exist, though.
Right?
Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened since then, and that's kind of what I want to talk to people about today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you and I were having a pretty deep conversation yesterday about goals, you know, and trajectories in the business, and I think that can be helpful to a lot of people, that
Right.
thought process. I don't think that you or I are the only ones that have, you know, set goals, reached them, maybe been disappointed, you know, about, oh, I thought this would have felt different, or this would have looked different, you know, and that does a lot to people's psyche. So I want to kind of dive into what we were talking about yesterday. I think that can be helpful to a lot of people out there, and I think that a lot of people feel stuff like that, but maybe don't admit it. Maybe they don't even admit it to themselves. So I want to kind of dive into that if that's cool with you. So let's go down that road a little bit. But if you can start off by telling people just a little bit about your history here with FFL and kind of your time here, how long you've been here, what you've done since you've been here, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, totally. And 3 years ago is when I first kind of started with FFL. It was when Gabe and Caleb were kind of getting things going. And I had actually started with a practice company.
Yeah.
that a lot of us have experience with, kind of an MLM type structure just wasn't for me at the time, and I was actually doing rideshare services in between time, but found FFL, met Caleb, came out here to Chicago area, and started getting into some training and liked what I was doing, liked the people that I was working with, but did not have a structure that I followed. Not because it wasn't there, I just didn't follow it.
Why do you think that is?
So this is such a strange business sometimes where, you have a customer base that fills out a form and says, hey, I need this service, and then you show up and fulfill that request with very little experience. And that can go to your head. At least it did with me. It's like, I know everything about this. I must have already known how to do this.
So you unfortunately saw quick success then, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Closed my very first appointment, and couldn't tell me a thing after that, right? Yeah. But then I experienced what a lot of agents do, that don't have a structure, don't have mentorship, don't have someone that's that they're asking for help, and they're not in business very long. And that's what happened with me.
Got it.
So, I was able to come back about 6 months later, and that's when I met you. Okay. Started working with you, and we've been here ever since. So
yeah, and it's been quite a ride since then too.
That's right.
A very long time. So went through a kind of humbling process of seeing quick success, and I always tell agents, I pity you if you see quick success in this business, because that means we're going to learn at some point.
Right.
Makes it a lot harder to learn after you feel like you're the pro.
Right.
And that's tough. So you saw quick success, fell on your face, had to recover, left the business to do that recovering, and then what brought you back in? Because that's not, that's an ego setting aside that has to take place. A very big pride pill to swallow. So what took place in your life to say, hey, I want back in?
So, the whole the leaving part, and just that was, I just had to pay bills, right? And I wasn't able to, or I wasn't willing to kind of take a look at myself in that moment. It just wasn't clicking. But what it ended up happening, I never lost. I was still watching people on social media, Caleb and people like that were still doing this over the period. I think it was about 6 to 7 months, and people were growing and still being successful and helping families and things like that. And I was still doing the same old stuff, and I had to really take a kind of look in the mirror and exercise some self-honesty and go, so either they've been lying to everyone successfully for the past 7 months about their growth and about this industry and all that kind of stuff, just since I've been watching, or maybe you don't know as much as you think you do, Nick. Maybe you need to change some things. Yeah. Right? And I still really enjoyed, even the brief amount of time that I was with FFL, what I was doing with them. Saved up, had an opportunity that came up out of nowhere, kind of a blessing financially, and I was like, I can either treat this as a a vacation, right? That blessing that I received, or I can use this as an investment for the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually remember that conversation.
Right?
I can
Yeah.
vaguely picture the gas station that I was parked at out in the field when we had that conversation
Right.
about what to do with that. But awesome, I love it. So had a tough talk with yourself about what it was going to take, and used an opportunity to come up to get back in. And then it's been all sunshine and rainbows since then, right?
That's right. Not a cloud on the horizon. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So now it's 2021. And what happened that year in the business? What did that look like? Good, bad, ugly, decent?
So that was so 2021 was that was a time to learning and trying to put old ideas aside, because in the beginning there, when I started again, when I started working with you, I know that our communication wasn't the greatest, especially in the beginning,
Okay.
because I kind of almost had the same idea that, okay, I'm going to start again, everything's going to be good this time, and this time I have a little bit more resources to keep that going. I don't need as much help as maybe, even after experiencing all that stuff, you can still have that voice up there that, no, just do it just a little bit different, not all the way different like you did last time. Yeah. But yeah, no, that was really starting to learn how to, not necessarily the aspects of the business and of setting the appointment, but the mindset behind it and how to be teachable. That's what 2021 helped me do.
Okay.
And
Makes
really
sense.
start to get the ideas of goals and having a structure for how to do this for the long term.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. And do you remember? I don't remember off the top of my head. Do you remember roughly how many families you helped that year? We're going way back there. At that point.
So I want to say it was like 270.
Okay, so in the
something
mid to high
like that.
200s.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
From May, I
was
think.
that accomplishing your goal, or was that falling short of a goal for that year?
So for that, for me, I didn't really have a huge or specific goal. I just wanted to last longer than 2 months.
No,
Because
okay,
that was the
goal achieved.
right. I was like, okay, last time I was here was like 2 months, so let's just do longer than that. But yeah, no, those goals started kind of forming for the first time in
Got
that 6 months period.
Okay, makes sense. So a lesson learning year. I remember a conversation in October of that year where we had a little bit of a light bulb moment.
Right.
And I think the business kind of took a turn for the better for you at that point. So now going into 2022, what were some of your thoughts and goals that you were setting for yourself going into that next year?
So in 2022, I really believe that not only this worked, but this is something that I could actually do.
What do you think sparked that belief? Because that's an interesting statement, right? Not just, hey, I can do it, or I wanted to do it, but I believed I could do it.
That moment, I remember where I was when we had that conversation, when I had that click in October. And it was just I don't know, like, I don't want to know, not sure if I want to call it like an internal, like, confidence.
Okay.
But I think it was more my ability to take instructions from someone that had already been doing this, like, that stopped being so much of a hurdle for me.
Got it.
So I was like, this is a simple business, and this is a cookie cutter thing, and consistency is way better than skill, and being teachable is way better than that. And I think I just started kind of believing that.
Got it.
And that made the process a lot smoother.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, 2022 was really, I knew I needed goals, but I really wasn't sure what that looked like for me.
Got it.
And I saw what other people were doing ahead of me, and what they were were working towards seemed attractive.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a structure in place where that looked achievable. So.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and what were some of those goals?
Well, obviously, Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame was a big goal. Building an agency, passive income. I mean, this is a really unique opportunity, that people have access to.
Okay.
And being able to change not only the lives for yourself and for the people that we help, but for the people around you. Financial freedom and all those things. Which doesn't sound bad. Being inexperienced, though, there's effort and work and things that go to achieve those goals that you kind of have to go through an experience to know what that's like.
Makes sense. Okay, so you saw goals of others and decided, hey, might as well.
Sure.
So maybe the personal belief wasn't there that that's what you truly wanted for yourself. It was just kind of a crowd mentality almost. Like, hey,
Right.
that's what people are doing, so let me do that.
Right.
Okay. And some of that worked out because you definitely hit Hall of Fame that year and beat it pretty soundly. I think it was close to 500, wasn't it, or a little bit over? Do you remember what the final number was?
I think it was 417, 418,
Yeah.
closer to that. Yeah, but yeah,
So we had some breathing room there.
we had a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I hit it in October and November. So
Nice.
definitely,
Okay.
yeah.
With time to spare too. Love it. So
Yeah.
so you hit that goal, but then the agency didn't exactly get where you wanted it either. And I
Right.
think there was a lot. That's probably what you were talking about when you were saying, hey, I saw the goals, but I didn't necessarily understand the work that it would take to get there. I think that was probably a wake up call for you, huh?
You know what a lot of it was? So the business part of it, super, super simple, right? Buy the leads, call, set the appointment, help the family, right?
Okay.
That part of the business can be kind of like, once you get it going, that's just, I don't have questions about that. I know how to do that,
Okay.
right? It's like an autopilot thing. But I think with what changed for me is building that relationship with like a mentor, like with yourself, and being more honest. And you really have to grow a kind of an intimacy with people.
Sure.
To just, because it's easy to just go, yeah, we're going to go to convention, we're all going to get red jackets, we're going to have a huge agency, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, have the right idea or the right goal for who you are at that time.
Got it.
And I had to know that, okay, maybe this is not where I'm at right now, and there's things that I need to do to change if I want to get there. But if I'm not able or have the tools to do that, I'm going to get disheartened. I'm going to struggle. There's going to be some burnout there. And I've seen some other people that I started with not be in business anymore, because probably they struggled with some of those things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you hit Hall of Fame, and kind of like we were talking a little bit about yesterday. How would you describe it? Would you describe it as disappointment or confusion, or what was what do you feel like that emotion was when you achieved that level?
Yeah, so I mean, it was great hitting Hall of Fame, and I enjoyed the whole experience and being there at convention and getting up there with all the other producers, and Sean Mike was up there. I mean, that was awesome, and the work that went into doing that. I feel like it felt good, and it was good to achieve a goal.
Okay.
I think as I got closer to it, I realized that while it's a wonderful achievement to have, it wasn't something that there was no value in it for me as to what was really important for what initially made this business attractive to me.
Got it. So in other words, you weren't tying the business goal in to any kind of personal achievement.
Right.
So it felt almost like an oxymoron, like, wait, I'm being celebrated over here in the business, but personally, I don't feel like anything has grown or happened. And why do you think that is? Have you thought a lot about that? Have you dived into, because you brought in a lot of money. So personally, we should have been better, but it sounds like you weren't.
Well, yeah, I mean, money is great, and achievements are great, and stuff and things like that. I think looking back at it now, I needed something has to drive you, more than just check marks on a spreadsheet or on a graph, or like a list of goals to achieve. The things that I was working for that were actually really important to me. There were moments in the business where I felt like I was sacrificing too much to achieve something that meant more to other people and a community that I was around than the why behind why this was so important when I started. And I think you get lost. I got lost in that whole, it's just losing touch with that foundation of the why, really.
Got it.
Which is, we're really busy, and we stay, to run a business takes a lot of, time and focus and effort, and just to keep the actual business running, you can get lost in why you're doing it in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. So I think it sounds like it boils down to two things. One was you did not have that proper motivation structured into what you need to accomplish in the business.
Right.
So we were striving for high levels of achievement in the business, but that wasn't correlated to, okay, and this is what it's going to do for me personally.
Right.
And I think that ties in with the other reason is the lack of managing the money appropriately.
Right.
And that's something that we've all struggled with in this business.
Right. Yeah.
Because this is a business. And so many of us struggle to realize that until it kind of ends up slapping us in the face at some point. And I think one of those slap in the face points for a lot of people is when they start producing at a high level, and the money, it's almost like water running out of their hands. It's like, wait, I felt a lot of it, but I don't have any left.
Right.
And I think that's so important for people is to get with someone that can help you manage your finances appropriately, so that way it's not just making a lot, but it's keeping a lot.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? So, especially coming into this business brand new, I had worked in the past and had decent paying jobs, but I mean the amount of money and resources that flow through very, very quickly in this business is literally mind-numbing.
Yeah.
Like you start looking at things numbers that I'm not used to seeing in my bank account with my name on it.
Yeah.
Right? So the same idea that I had in the beginning of, I don't know how to run this business and run the appointment and call the client, I need help with that. That should be the same with the actual money and financial part of the business.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning now, and it's, better late than never. Not that this wasn't available to me. This is just I'm a little slow to cooperate sometimes, I think, is that the people that I'm getting help from struggled with the same things.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're going to need someone to tell you, don't do that. Put your money over here. Do this like this. And, you can learn from other people's experience and have a way better, an easier time moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's something that it's very tough to admit.
Sure.
But it's something that we all come to at some point. And that's one of the things that I love about this business, or just life in general, is the more lessons you learn the hard way, you can either let that frustrate you, depress you, focus on it, or you can use that as motivation, as that's that many tools that you have to now help others. And having made so many mistakes in this business, I kind of have to look at it like that, or else I'll just lay in bed crying all day, right? Because it's like, hey, I've screwed everything up. How can I use these? I've learned from them, but how can I help benefit other people from it as well?
Right.
And everyone's kind of on their own path of learning. People are going to implement lessons at different points. Some people can learn from others for a specific situation. Some people have to make that mistake once and then they'll learn. Some people have to make it over and over and over again. Right. And it's different for every single lesson, every single category. But I think those are kind of the two bottom line things that people can take away from, okay, so he's a top producer. Most people have heard of you, know who you are, seen you on podcasts and, seen you on leaderboards and stuff. And I think that's very powerful to be able to share with people, like, hey, yeah, Hall of Fame is great, but why did you want to hit Hall of Fame?
Right.
Was it for the red jacket? Because that might be a little disappointing.
Right. It's
not
sitting in
name
the closet
brand.
right now. Yeah, it's right. It's not name brand. Yeah. It's sitting in the closet.
And then from there, it's like, well, if you don't keep a lot of money along the way,
right.
The red jacket's fun, the moment's fun, but then after that, it's just a memory, and it's not like you were the only one. You're just one of many.
Right.
If you didn't keep any money, what changed?
Right.
Nothing really changed other than you can say you hit it.
Right.
And I think that leads to disappointment and then lack of motivation going forward.
Right.
So now let's talk about end of 2022, going into 2023. What were some things going on in your head and in your business coming out of that time?
Yeah, so coming out of 2022, leaving convention, getting Hall of Fame, red jacket, and all that kind of stuff, had some transitional periods for me, going from in-person to telesales. And then that kind of which financially was a struggle for me from some of the things that we just talked about, but also, learning a new skill kind of,
Okay.
and having to go through that pride deflation, ego deflation.
Yep.
I just hit Hall of Fame, and I just blew 5 appointments in a row on a Zoom call with everyone listening to me. Just like, just, boo, like, and
I remember one of those. I was like, Nick, did you do that in person? No. Why are you doing it here?
right. And it's like, oh my goodness, right? And it's like, yeah. So and you kind of have that moment of like, okay, what am I actually doing here, right? What am I actually getting out of this? And it really took me back to that first time that I started with FFL, where it's like, okay, either because I see other people and colleagues look like they're enjoying their business and they're growing and they're hitting goals that they actually want to achieve, and it's like, okay, either they're lying or it's you again, Nick. Something's got to change.
It'd be nice if that was just a one-time lesson, wouldn't it be?
Right. I was like, did we already do this?
Deja vu.
Right.
Oh man, yeah. So another lesson learned there.
Right.
Okay. And then now we're sitting here in early July. Just over halfway through the year. And how do you feel about this year so far?
So following the system. So the good news is that the system that we have still works. Right. It never stopped working. And no matter how far behind that I feel like I might be getting, there is always a moment, or there's always time to, in my experience so far, to just be honest with your mentor. If you don't have one, I'm not sure what you're doing.
Yeah.
But get to your mentor, be honest, put your cards on the table, so to speak, and say, okay, this is what's going on, and I need some help with some of this stuff, all this stuff, whatever, give me an appraisal on what you think.
Yeah.
And that's really what I've been leaning into, and growing at a pace and with goals that fit me, based and using someone like yourself and Ryan and other people like that are pursuing the same goals, not my goals, but goals that they're specific to them.
Yeah.
And that is changing why I'm getting up and going to work every day.
Because you feel like you're chasing your goal, not mine.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so powerful, and I think I've been trapped, in that trap before, and it's a very depressing trap to be in. Because it's like, why am I doing this?
Right. Right.
I don't care. I mean, I like that person, but I don't really care that much about them.
Right.
Like I want to work for myself, but you don't have any personal goals that you're shooting for. And we work hard. So it's like, well, I don't want to work that hard for what?
Right.
Hall of Fame was just a red jacket and I already have it. But if there's a specific reasoning behind what you're shooting for your personal life, achievements that you can have, ways that you can get ahead in life and pursue things that you're looking to pursue, well, then the business makes so much more sense.
Right.
It's like, oh, got it. If I do this, it'll help me get here. Why do you think that connection didn't get made and now has been made?
Well, for so long there, I was just okay with, being okay with paying your bills is great. I've got enough to pay my bills, and but it kind of gets into a cycle of like, when does this stop? When is this going to change? I think what made me able to connect was definitely doing things like coming out here physically, right? There's, a lot of our businesses, you can work from anywhere you want to, but physically being with people is important. I think that builds relationships and builds connections, and it's just, you're never going to get the same thing that you will over a Zoom call or a phone call. But really having relationships with people that you can trust. And just say, this is what's going on. Or maybe I have no idea what's going on. Maybe I don't know what my goals are. And being able to get some help with someone that's gone through that process to help guide you through, hey, to answer that question, why are you doing this?
Yeah. That's huge. Wrapping it up here, and this has been powerful. I appreciate you sharing. I think this is going to help a lot of people. Let's kind of, place a bookend on it and help people that maybe there's a couple people out there. I think there's people that are just getting by. And that makes me so sad in this business because there's so much more potential, but they're just getting by in the business. So let's talk to them first, and we'll talk to a couple other people that are watching. But someone's just getting by in the business. Their bills are paid, but there's not really any extra to give or to save. And they don't feel like they're getting ahead or that much closer to anything. Maybe they aren't on pace for their goals that they had set when everyone else was setting goals, and it sounded fun. So speak to that person a little bit.
Absolutely, and that's so you're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable because guess what? You're already probably uncomfortable right now with the way that things are going.
That's true.
Especially watching other people on the leaderboards and stuff like that going, okay, what it's just that question of it's got to be me that has to change. Stop talking to yourself. And find someone that's been helping you or that person that's been teaching you, and let them dissect and get up into your business, into your production, into your personal life. It's an extremely important aspect of this. It's not just the work part; it's everything.
It's crazy how interconnected those two things are
Absolutely.
here, right? You are the business.
Right, right. I mean, I have an agent that I've been working with for a little bit now, and she's finally coming to me and telling me about some stuff that's going on with her personal life. She goes, I guess that did affect my production. And I said, well, of course it did. But I can't extract things from you. I'm here and I'm able to help with some of those things. And the crazy part is it wasn't a huge, big, unique situation that she was telling me about. It was stuff that I had been talking to you about, and then I've talked to other people, and we're working on that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to let someone get up in your stuff and kind of be willing to listen to that advice.
That's powerful. Okay. So now let's talk to the person that maybe they don't know what their goal should be. Maybe they're newer to the business and they hear you say, hey, be careful about setting the same goal as other people. So they're like, oh, well, I don't want to do that, and wind up disappointed or frustrated. So maybe it's a newer agent that doesn't know what their goals is. How do they start to figure out what their goals are? How did you do that?
I mean, pain is a good teacher, and pain will definitely motivate change. For me, when I saw this business in the beginning, I knew what I was not happy with in my life at that moment, and I saw what this opportunity could do. And then I kind of had to take a look at, okay, what is it that I'm either shooting for or that I want, or what is the pain that I'm trying to alleviate or get rid of, and then have that as a starting point. And then you're gonna need help from someone else in the business, someone that can assist you or that's already gone through that before, to kind of help guide you on, all right, now what I have step A and step Z, what's the rest of the BCD, all that stuff in the middle to get to that point.
Got it.
And those things can morph and grow from there. I mean, it's certainly doing that with me now.
Okay. So figuring out what are you unhappy with currently in your life.
Right.
And figuring out what do you want in life.
Right.
So the business doesn't play a role in your goals when you're establishing them.
Right.
But it helps you get there, like a vehicle.
Absolutely.
And the goals are the destination.
Right.
The vehicle itself can't be the destination, or else you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Right. You almost kind of are in circles. Right, and that's kind of what I felt like for a while. They're just stuck driving aimlessly. It's like driving down the highway with no GPS. It's like, oh my God, the road's still going. I don't know where we're going to stop. Yeah. Eventually you're going to run out of gas, though,
Yeah, 100%. I think people do.
Right.
I think people do because they have no clear target or no belief that they can hit the target that they're shooting for.
Right.
Right. If you're in L.A. and you're trying to get up to Seattle, you're like, well, I know where I got to get to, but I got one tank of gas, so I don't know how this is going to go.
Right.
And that gets pretty frustrating pretty quick if you don't have that belief that you can get where you're trying to go. So analyze your personal situation. Be brutally honest with yourself about what you're not happy with and what you want to achieve. And I would say you have to be able to figure out how hard you're willing to work to make that happen too. Would you agree? Because I think a lot of people, they set this dream, oh, I want to be a millionaire, whatever that means to them, right? Or I want to have all of these, rentals are so popular these days, that passive income in real estate, but they've never even made six figures in a year before.
Right.
You know, and so they've got all these lofty goals without the work ethic to match.
Right.
And so you have to be honest about your goals, what you aren't happy with, where you want to get to, and how hard you're willing to work to get there, and then connect with a mentor. I think that a lot of this conversation is coming back to that.
Right.
That mentorship. I don't know if it is. I haven't seen it personally or secondhand. I don't think success is possible at any high level without a mentor.
Right.
Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%.
I think in any area.
100%.
Right, whether it's life or marriage or spirituality, religion, business. I think you have to have a mentor to be successful in any category.
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, even if you try and look at this logically, I mean, how am I going to achieve something that I've never done before by teaching myself how to do something that I don't know? I mean, but you give me that opportunity. I've definitely tried it before, and it doesn't work out very well.
And you've tried it a couple times.
I tried it a couple times, right? Yeah, broke clock is right twice a day, right?
Yeah.
Why not? But yeah, no, absolutely. And something that has been kind of helpful to me more recently too is making these goals realistic and putting a timetable on it. Where it feels like, that LA drive to Seattle doesn't feel like it's going to be, is this going to be a day or 6 years? Like a timetable with something that can be measurable, that you can be held accountable to, with that person that's helping you achieve that or plan that roadmap to that goal.
Yeah. I'm going to stop at this gas station, and I'm going to stop here overnight. I'm going to refuel here. I'm going to stop and see this site here. Call me when you get here.
Right.
All along the way, instead of just hope it works out.
Call me when you get there. Yeah. Good luck.
Okay, yeah. So that's powerful there. And then lastly, let's talk to someone that's set a goal. Mm-hmm. They believed in it at the time, but then they didn't follow through on the work ethic. Mm-hmm. They could hit it. They knew they could hit it. They know they still know they can hit it, but they're not on track to do it. Because we're halfway through the year. That's the time of year that a lot of people kind of analyze that January goal and start thinking twice about it. Talk to that person that's maybe a little disappointed in themselves.
Well, some of the most successful people that I have personally met are the ones that they're not as funny as you might think, that set the goal and did it perfectly every single time, right? The most successful people that I've met have made the most mistakes and have gone through the most pitfalls and have shortcomings and all that stuff. So I would take that as an opportunity to let's honestly look at what, because I've made some lofty goals in the past that I did not hit. And that's where I think some of that self-honesty starts to grow, because I can continue to lie to myself and make excuses and blame others, or I can swallow that hard pill and go, okay, I clearly was off on something. Let's dissect where that was and how I can change that, and let's keep moving forward. Yeah. Because this is just, all I did was find a way that didn't work. So let's find a way that we can keep going and keep moving.
Yeah. Love it. That's awesome, man. Any parting shots? This has been deep. This has been good. I think it's been very practical to a lot of people, because this is something that I think every human that wants success at any level is going to go through at some point. Mm-hmm. I think we spoke to a lot of people there. Do you have any parting shots that you want to leave people with? Any thoughts that you want them kind of ending this video and carrying with them?
I think that, I've been having some time to reflect and look back, especially being here. And I mean, this is just what a blessing this business really is, and in particular, your Family First Life. I mean, what's available to us doesn't come around a lot, and it definitely works, and it's a real thing. I think just learning how to trust the system and keep moving forward. I mean, there's all kinds of amazing things that are possible, and it's really blessed and fortunate to be here with
100%. Yeah. Else, Yeah, I agree, man. And it's I enjoy the type of people that you get to know and the degree to which you get to know them along the way as well.
Absolutely.
I feel like relationships are formed here far past that of a coworker.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's a really fun part to me as well. So, love it, man. Appreciate you being on, making the trip out here. It's not a short trip from California to Chicago, so I appreciate you coming out here, and appreciate you all for watching, tuning in. I hope you took away a lot of practical things from this. Nick's been around the block a couple times, and I know that he can help you out if you take some of that stuff away and apply it. So I appreciate you tuning in, watching another episode. Hope you have a great rest of your day. That's a wrap.
All right.